The time is 6 o'clock. This is 91.7 FM Radio Mina. In the word of Eleanor Roosevelt, you must do things you think you cannot do. A very good evening and welcome to our news magazine program, Newsreel. Today, Monday, night Shaban 1445 after Hijrah, equivalent to 19th of February 2024. In today's headlines, President Tinubu says Nigeria is ready to host African Central Bank. Niger governor swears in 5 new permanent secretaries. Federal government begins payment of withheld ASU salaries. And Rep 6 Navy synergy to fish out crude oil theft. We have all these and more, plus other stories. I am Yahya Muhammad. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says Nigeria is ready to host the African Central Bank in line with the vision of Abuja Treaty. The treaty lays the foundation for the establishment of an African Common Market. Tinubu spoke at the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union AU in Ethiopia. He said his administration will engage the AU Commission in collaboration with the member state to ensure that the bank takes off as scheduled in 2028. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the country without ceasing, adding that the insecurity situation and hardship being experienced is for a short period of time. Tinubu said this at the opening session of the 2024 First Plenary Assembly of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria CBCN at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigerian Resource Center, Durumi, Abuja. He told the bishop that the country is relying on their unwavering encouragement of the Nigerian populace. Minister of State for Defense Dr. Bello Muhammad Mutawalli has reaffirmed the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage, saying only the armed forces and the Nigerian police force, while on joint operation with the military, are allowed by the law to use the military camouflage. The minister's call comes against the backdrop of an increase in the use of military camouflage by kidnappers, bandits, and other criminals who disguise themselves as the military and parliamentary personnel to cause havoc in the society. Spokesman of the Ministry of Defense, Harshad Obike, while making this known to newsmen in Abuja, said the present situation does not support the use of military camouflage by people who are not unauthorized, or not personnel of defense headquarters. The Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy has unveiled a strategy called Project 774 Local Government Connectivity to create not less than 300 direct jobs as the federal government deploy more jobs indirectly on the increase in digital access. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Boso Tijani, who disclosed this via his X handle, added that it will connect 774 local government areas in the country to the internet. Tijani added that it aimed at building Nigeria's technical talent backbone to power the digital economy and position Nigeria as a net talent exporter. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris Malagi has dismissed call by the People's Democratic Party PDP Governors Forum for the recognizing of President Bola Tinubu over the current economic hardship in the country. The PDP Governors Forum, in a statement signed by the Director General CID Motubum, had urged Tinubu to resign if he cannot provide sustainable solution to the country's problem. However, replying the PDP governors in a statement by Rabiu Ibrahim, a special assistant on media, the Minister of Information and National Orientation Idris Malagi insisted that Tinubu will not resign. Idris Malagi noted that the administration of President Bola Tinubu had since inception generously extended financial support to all the state government regardless of partisan affiliation. Niger State Governor Umar Mohamed Bago has sworn in 5 new permanent secretaries in the state civil service. The new permanent secretaries were administered oath of office by the Chief Magistrate Court 1, Umar Mohamed, at the Government House, Mina. Government House correspondent Safia Yaman reported that Governor Umar Mohamed Bago charged the new permanent secretary to exhibit truth as their watchdog while discharging their responsibilities. He also called on them to have the fear of God and key into the new Niger policy in order to achieve its desired goals. The new sworn-in permanent secretaries are Omar Dallamim, Saliu Mohammed Alfa, Rahila Ilya, Dr. Baba Usman, and James Tetengi Baki. The annual General Meeting Conference of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Niger State Chapter, is scheduled for tomorrow, the 20th February 2024. According to a statement signed by the State Chairman, Alhaji Musa Ladan, the conference will take place at Idris Lego International Conference Center, Mina, by 10 o'clock in the morning. The team of guests expected include Niger State Governor Mohammed Umar Bagu, who will serve as a special guest of honor, while former Governor Mohammed Muaz Babangida Aliyu will be the guest of honor. Professor Mustafa Zubairu and Professor Mohammed Kutayahaya will serve as the speaker and discussant respectively. Deputy President 1, Pastor Yeye Abode, has appealed to the Yoruba community in Niger State to live at peace with one another. The Deputy President 1 made the appeal during the general meeting under the leadership of President General Abdurrahman Ajajari held at the Yoruba Community House in Mina. A statement signed by the Secretary General Jacob Oyedeji urged all other functions of the community to economic growth and development of Yorubas in the state. According to the statement, the Yoruba community applaud the effort of Governor Umar Mohammed Bagu for running an inclusive government without any discrimination, pledging the community support to the present administration. Special prayers were offered for the peace and unity in the state and the country at large. Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project (SERAP) has given the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited 7-day ultimatum to account for missing oil revenues worth $2.4 billion and 164 billion naira. SERAP, which made the demand in an open letter addressed to the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Mele Kyari, said that if its request is not complied within the time frame, it will approach the court for adjudication. The civil society organization is also asking Kyari to name and scheme those responsible for the disappearance of oil money, so charge them for the total amount involved and hand them over to appropriate anti-corruption agencies as provided for the under paragraph 3.112 of the Financial Regulation 2009 and recommended by the Auditor General. In the letter signed by his Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP also urged Kyari to ensure the full recovery and remittance of the missing money into the Federation account without further delay. The organization maintained that the missing oil revenue have further damaged the already precarious economy in the country and contributed to a very high level of deficit spending by the government. Nigerians in New York have again appealed to the federal government to provide passport production printers to the Nigerian consulate to enhance smooth passport services in the United States. The concerned Nigerians made the call at a virtual 12th town hall meeting hosted by the consulate for the Nigerian community under its jurisdiction. Nigerians have 3 missions in the United States, namely the Consulate General of Nigeria in New York and Atlanta and the Embassy of Nigeria in Washington, D.C. Nigeria and Brazil have agreed to deepen the economic relationship. Both countries expressed a tension at a meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President Lucid Inacio Lula da Silva at the sideline of the ongoing African Union AU Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Presidential spokesperson Ajuri Ingilali made this known at the bilateral meeting in a statement. The president further explained that his administration is investing in a critical sector of the economy like healthcare, education, and agriculture to ensure the welfare of all Nigerian citizens and to create sustainable economic prosperity for future generations. The 59th President Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria (ICAN), Dr. Innocent Okwasa, has called on professional accountants to deploy their expertise on salvaging the economy. Okwasa, who was represented by Loki Okenna, council member and district coordinator, gave the advice in an interview with newsmen on the sidelines of the annual dinner and award night organized by the ICAN Inyanya Maraba and District Society in Abuja. He said ICAN members could be part of the positive change in the country, adding that it was important for the accountant to use their expertise to tackle the economic challenges in the country. You are still listening to our news magazine program coming to you this hour from 91.7 FM Radio Mina. In the first segment of the news, you've heard that federal government begins payment of withheld ASU salaries. Niger governor swears in 5 new permanent secretaries. And still to come, President Tinubu says Nigeria is ready to host African Central Bank and rep seek Navy synergy to fish out crude oil thefts, and details of all this shortly. Remember that you can follow us and comment on our social media handle, X at Prestigefm91.7mx, our Facebook handle at Prestigefm91.7mx, our Instagram Prestigefm91.7mx. You can also listen to us anywhere on radio app prestigefmradio.org.ng. And the news continues in just a moment. Thanks for joining us. And now the news continues. The federal government has begun the payment of the withheld salaries of academics under the aegis of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The chairperson of the ASU at the Federal University of Technology, Professor Bolari, confirmed the development. Similarly speaking, with journalist ASU President Emmanuel Sodeki said the new union has received report of its members receiving 102 credit alert. He however added that ASU is still working to confirm specific details and report of the developments. National Association of Academic Technologies (NAT) has condemned the federal government plan to pay only members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU) the withheld salaries while excluding members of NAT and two other university-based unions. In a statement signed by his president, Comrade Ibeji Iwokoma, and General Secretary, Comrade Abubakar Yusuf, the union said the government's action was unfair, unjust, and recipe for industrial crisis in the universities. The union said the minister has stated that all arrangements were concluded by the government on the payment of withheld salaries to all members of universities-based unions in federal universities and the implementation of the new salary structure of the 25% and 35% salary increase for all workers in tertiary institutions. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have intercepted a large consignment of loud and a synthetic strong strain of cannabis, India hemp, at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. This was contained in a statement by the NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi in Abuja. Babafemi said the drugs were concealed in a giant loudspeaker stock in a consolidated cargo imported from New York, United States of Africa. According to him, 3 suspects have been arrested: a freight giant Akim Afiz, logistic company manager Babalola Ayodeji, and the receiver of the consignment, Tayo Olusegun. Police Service Commission (PS) has said it did not announce any date for examining applicants in the ongoing recruitment of constable cadres of Nigerian police. The PSC further this untrending date on social media for the examination. The spokesperson of the PSC, Ikwechuku Ani, in a statement advised applicants to discontinue the dates currently circulating on social media, saying that the Commission will at the appropriate time not only officially announce the date for the examination, but notify the applicants who were successful from the screening exercise. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has admitted that there is hunger in Nigeria. Akpabio made this known as Senator Bernard Imape's Thanksgiving service in Koroma Tai local government area, Rivers State. Akpabio advised Nigerians to be patient, arguing that it will take time to solve Nigerians' challenges. House of Representatives Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft and Losses has appealed to the Nigerian Navy to assist it with relevant information to unravel those behind the premier stealing of the country's crude oil. The chairman of the committee, Alassane Adodogwa, in a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja, disclosed this after his engagement of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Gala. Dogwa said that the major reason the country was not meeting its production target was largely attributed to crude oil theft. Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NAMET) has predicted haziness and cloudiness across the country from Monday to Wednesday. It warned people with respiratory issues, among others, to be cautious of the weather and wear masks. NAMET's weather outlook, released in Abuja, forecasts moderate dust hazards with horizontal visibility range of 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers over the northern and north central state. According to NAMET, except Benue, Kogi, and Kwara, While patches of cloud in the hazy atmosphere are anticipated, patches of cloud are expected over the inland of the south throughout the forecast periods. And out of business news, the parallel market exchange rate has experienced a significant decline, plummeting to a record low of 2,049 per Great Britain pound, driven by persistent demand pressures that continue to erode the currency values. Sarah Salima Tugana has more on Business Update.
110 naira compared to 1,930 recorded the previous day. This depreciation stands as an unprecedented occurrence, representing the lowest point in the historical performance of the naira. Concurrently, black market exchange rates have continued to witness the devaluation of the Nigerian naira, worsened by a substantial surge in inflation, as reported by the National Bureau of Statistics for January 2024. Meanwhile, dollar sales by deposit money banks and other entities at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market dropped by 252 million per dollar to 84.1 million to dollar. This represents a 74% drop from 331.1 million naira to dollar transaction recorded at the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. Meanwhile, the naira depreciated to 1,537 naira to dollar from 1,498 naira to dollar recorded at the close of trading activities at the official market. That's all on Business Update. I'm Sarah Salima Tugana.
And from the foreign scene, a Pakistani politician, Imran Khan, who won a seat in the recent national election, has abandoned the seat. Rahmat Yunusa has this and more on the foreign scene.
The Islami Party had been named the victor of the provincial assembly seats in the city of Karachi after securing more than 26 votes. Khan, a former prime minister of Pakistan, is in jail over corruption and criminal charges after he fell out with the country's powerful military, and his PTI was barred from contesting elections, forcing members to stand as independent. He said that while he had received more than 26,000 votes, the independent candidate Saif Bari, backed by PTI, had received 31,000 votes but were presented as 11,000 votes. Meanwhile, the United States has issued a scathing condemnation of the escalating violence in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, squarely blaming the Rwanda-backed 23 million rebel group for exacerbating in the region. The United States condemns Rwanda's support for 23 million rebel group and calls on the Rwanda to immediately withdraw all personnel from the Democratic Republic of Congo and remove its surface-to-air missile systems. Beyond the immediate crisis, the resurgence of the 23 million rebel force, which roots in Rwanda's genocide, raises critical strategic questions about non-state armed groups undermining regional stability. And that ended foreign scene. I am Rahmat Yunusa.
And with that foreign scene by Rahmat Yunusa, wrap it off on today's edition of our news magazine program. And just before we go, a recap of the top stories once again to end the news. You heard that the federal government begins payment of withheld ASU salaries. Niger governor swears in 5 new permanent secretaries. President Tinubu says Nigeria is ready to host African Central Bank. And lastly, REP 6 Navy synergy to fish at crude oil thefts. And thus, the news broadcast, a popular African proverb, says education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. On behalf of the news editor Rabi Abubakar Gimba and the entire news production crew, the duty continuity announcer has been Steve India. I am Yahya Muhammad. Good evening and thanks for listening.